Good morning. Better late than never. Is that Chop Shot Crew? I thought it was just a Chop Shop. But if you want to add crew to it, that's cool. A lot of folks are saying congratulations to Tracy. That's great. Brian writes, last time because I know you're hurting. LeBron who? See, Brian, you're just going to just all the way in, right? You're just going to screw it all the way in. You know it's a sensitive spot right now. I fully admit the Cavs look like they could be swept, period. If the Cavs get swept, it's going to be a long summer for LeBron James, a very long summer. But you know what? If he's a real competitor, if they lose, I'm not saying they can't, they are. But if they lose, it should just make them better. Come back with a better team. J.R. Smith got to go. He got to go. Mentally, he's not there. Got all these tattoos all over your face and all over your neck, and you don't got no gangster in you at all? I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, something about these folks with these tattoos everywhere on them. Now, if you have a lot of tattoos, I've got tattoos, okay, so maybe that we can identify. But my flow is I'm still putting it out there. I don't mean it disrespectfully, but I've got to be me. Kevin Newman writes, all Cincinnatians has to cheer for now is O.J. Hancock. We lost Ali, but I'm still here. LOL. He's funny. At least we do have a superhero. That is nice to know. Thank you for reminding me, Kevin. Good morning to you, sir. Omar writes, LeBron is the Buffalo Bills of basketball. Yeah, he can get to the dance, but he got 2 left feet. See, it already starts. It already starts. LeBron has never had a coach. He's never had a coach with the best coach LeBron ever had was Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra was the coach. It was undeniable. He ran the team. I've seen examples of Eric Spoelstra getting into it with Dwayne Wade. With Dwayne Wade was cussing him out. Like it could have, if not for the fact that it was a game going on, they could have went to blows. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. There's nothing wrong with an argument. There's nothing wrong with a heated discussion. I mean, you don't really want to get physical. But if you're competing and you're trying to get to a goal, sometimes you're going to disagree. And if you got a real team and you're committed to it, you can stay on the same boat and reach your destination together. This is a part of the process. I saw him do the same thing with LeBron James. LeBron James needs a coach who can pull him into a room and say, this ain't working, bro. We're not doing it that way. We're going to do it my way. I'm the coach. And LeBron buys into it. Because the coach who can do that to him can coach the entire team. If you got a coach that can go to LeBron James and say, listen, LB, I want you to do this, this, and that, and I want you to do it the way I'm telling you to do it. LeBron says, okay. Then that means that every man on the squad got to do the same thing when the coach comes to them and gives them a critique about their respective games. And that's just not happening. Damn Tyronn Lue. I knew it. I'm telling you, I knew it. This team's goals is too lofty to have a rookie head coach. It's too lofty. That's just me, though, but I don't want to get too negative about it. Terrence writes, Nathan Prince did not have to be abusing meds to get an overdose. It just had one, and it was done by the doctors. So you telling me that was the first time he ever took those kind of drugs? I don't buy it. And just look at this. So he's in the elevator. So did he pop onto the elevator? The elevator door shut. He pops his pills, and before the elevator gets to the bottom, or was he had already taken the pills and then got on the elevator, and then it just hit him in his system? Either way, come on now. Come on now, T-Bone. Let's stop making excuses, man. What's up with T-Bone? Brittany writes, good morning. Good morning, Brittany. Pat writes, not happy either. Even the Golden State Warrior bench is good. And they have Steve Kerr, who was a Bull, right? Steve Kerr. I mean, it's undoubtedly. I mean, Mark Jackson built that team. Steve Kerr took that team to another level. And maybe it was his personality. Maybe it was the fact because he has so many rings he played with Jordan. I mean, if I was a basketball player, if I'm a professional basketball player, I'm just telling you, I'm like this about anything. If I'm a professional basketball player, I'm going to respond and take more seriously a coach who's done it. Especially if he was a former player and he won rings and he was a part of our championship era, I'm going to listen to that person much more and faster than I would somebody who's like a rookie head coach who, you know, I know Tyronn Lue has a ring. He has a ring, so there's some credibility there. But I'm going to listen to those kind of coaches a bit more. I'm telling you, they should have, the Cleveland Cavaliers, when they got rid of David Blatt, they should have picked up Mark Jackson. Why? Mark Jackson is a hell of a coach. That's number one. He's a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a coach, and he knows talent because he was a part of the process that chose all those Golden State Warriors players. But here's the other thing. If you know that Golden State is your number one competitor, then you need a psychological advantage. Right now, the Golden State Warriors picked up Anderson Varejao. I don't know about you. I think that gives them a psychological advantage. What is he doing in the locker room? He's in the locker room telling them everything they need to know about all of those players, their weak points. Mark Jackson could have did the same thing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm telling you, that was a big mistake, but we'll see. We'll see. James writes, they called it over and medicated when done by doctors, T-Bone. Brian writes, I thought all the pieces were in place, finally for the Cavs. Tracy writes, thanks all. Yeah, she got some great she got some great support. Absolutely. Crystal writes, good morning, Chop Shop. Tracy writes, Wanda, the promoters never made money on Sunday for Jazz Fest, sadly. Folks packed up and left. Yeah, pretty much. Brian writes, I totally agree with Mark Jackson should have been hired. Right. Who else better? Who else better? Man went to the Western Conference Finals a couple times. He put that team together. He would be the exact. And it's just psychological in the sense that the other players, they know that Mark Jackson knows them and knows their games. So they're going to feel like he's telling the Cavs little things about each player to give them an advantage, to give them some insight. It's psychological, man. But no, they had to get Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue. I mean, I wish him the best. I know he got a family and all, but come on, man. I mean, your first gig should not be the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's just me. Brian writes, I was lost for words when Golden State fired him. Yo, so was I. And I'm at a loss for words that he hasn't been rehired. And it's almost as if the NBA is trying to erase any connection that he had with the Golden State Warriors. How is it that Luke Walton can get a head coaching job before Mark Jackson? That doesn't even make any sense. Racism, man. I'm telling you, it's racism. What else could it be? Maybe it's personality politics. Maybe that's, I've read that Mark Jackson is like a no-nonsense kind of guy, and that's exactly the kind of guy you need as a coach. Ed writes, my bad, Nate. It's the only reason I can give for the Cavs losing. We all know the Cavs are the better team. No, they're not. No. Golden State is a much better team. Much better team from top to bottom. They play more players. Their players are better, and their players are have skills that are multifaceted. They can do multiple things. Watch the game. Watch the game. That's the reason why they're so good on defense, because they all are good on defense individually and as a team. Just watch it. Craig writes, right, no heart at all. None old Bulls team, old Detroit teams never would happen. Softies on the Cavs squad. He's right. The Cavs do not have an enforcer. They don't have a guy that's going to come in and play super, super intense and scream and yell and try to intimidate players and run over and be the first man to pick somebody up when somebody falls on the ground. Even notice that. When one of the Golden State Warriors players falls on the ground, they all run over to pick that person up. I see Steph Curry doing that. I see Klay Thompson doing that. I've seen LeBron James step over one of his own players. Got his hands on his hip like he don't see the guy and runs back and gets back on the next play and doesn't reach down and pick up his player, depending on who it is. If it's Kyrie, yeah, he'll run over there. But he doesn't do that for every single player. That's huge. That team has emotional issues inside, trust issues. They don't trust one another, period. Brenda writes, good morning, all. Good morning, Brenda. Good to see you. Welcome. Terrence writes, the fat lady has not yet sang, but I hear her warming up. Do I have any fat lady? I don't have any fat lady. Yeah, I used to keep a fat lady on standby so you could sing. It was Roseanne Barr singing the national anthem. Got to step my game up. Tonika writes, Nate, as long as they're fine, we're not concerned about how these athletes play. LOL. Hashtag eye candy. Hey, we all watching the games for different reasons. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Oh, my gosh. Jerica writes, Harambe bumped conversations about the transgenders in their bathrooms. Hashtag thank you, Harambe. It ain't going nowhere, Jerica. It'll be back. You know, we're going to have to deal with that. City by city, county by county, state by state, perhaps. That issue needs to be dealt with in a very humane, dignified, and respectful manner. That's how I put that. Brent writes, good morning. Good morning, Brent. Pat writes, Ali was one of a kind. Athletics now care more about money and are not willing to stand up for anything except dropping dimes, shaking my head. Well, you know, athletes are making more money these days. If Ali had been faced with making the kind of money that, let's say, a Floyd Mayweather is making, do you think that he would have stood to his constitution? I believe so. I believe so. But that's a tremendous thing. I mean, being set up, financially set for the rest of your life, or standing up for people who will probably never be in a position to stand up for you. That's deep right there. Ms. D writes, I don't think athletes today want to lose what they got. Ali put it all on the line. Yes, he did. Crystal writes, those days are over. Modern athletes are too spoiled about self. Times are different, and so are men. I made the same observation. I think she's very right. I think she's very right about that. Men are just different today. It's hard to put your hand on it, but you can definitely feel it. Deborah writes, Muhammad Ali will be remembered for his faith, stance against the government regarding the Vietnam War draft, and a long list of, she wrote that 3 times. Mike writes, Ali saw the dark irony of America KKK wanting to send a black man to war when America KKK has been at war with black people since before its founding. Yes, it was very eloquent. It was profound. Muhammad Ali said, basically, listen, I don't have no problem with no Viet Cong. Never called me the N-word. And that was profound. You know why? Because he was absolutely right. He was absolutely right. But, you know, later in life, and again, I think largely because he did not have his faculties about him. He didn't have the ability to vocalize his dissatisfaction with much of anything, really. You remember back in 2002, well, I'm sorry, it was back to 1996, as a matter of fact. Remember that? 1996, Ali was sent to light the Olympic torch in Atlanta. I remember that. I'll never forget that. That was 1996, the Olympics. And even then, I thought to myself, this is going back to 1996, I thought to myself, if Ali had his full wits about him, would this country still have wanted him to be a representative during the Olympics? And that was 20 years ago. Still feel the same way today. R.I.P. to one of the greatest of all time. That would be Muhammad Ali. Now, that is sad. Was I sad about Prince? Yeah, but this is different. This is much different. Much, much different. Kenny writes, I heard on the news that Dave Parker has Parkinson's disease also. Really? That's not good. Pat writes, side note, the Hamilton County Public Library is having a book sale June 4th through June 10th. I'm going to have to go down and check that out. Thank you for the update, Pat. James writes, you'll never catch Mayweather standing up for a thing or AB. I mean, well, they stand for a lot of things. Money, holes, and clothes. Okay? That's a biggie line right there. Men, materialism, women, and looking good. Creature comforts. And I'm not trying to diss them for that because, hey, that's their American dream. Live it the way they want to. I'm just saying. Brent writes, the Cavs defense is dismal. You cannot beat Golden State if you can't keep them under 100 points. Hell, if you could keep them to like 105 or so, you're doing pretty good against Golden State. You're right. Their defense is completely terrible. And that's because they don't really have a lot of players who are good on defense. Kyrie Irving, for all of his spectacular offensive basketball skills, defensively is a liability. He's a liability. They are eating him up down there. Mouse in the house. Whatever man gets if he's